Every day I'm shot calling. I'm a spray champagne, make it rain just to let you know.
Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boys, Casey and Travis here. It's been a long week. A lot of schoolwork we had to get done. Sorry we had to push this off until Sunday. However, this is our second to last episode of season 1. It's kind of sad. Next week's our last episode. Kind of brings a tear to my eye. And yeah, so finals week are next week, so that's the only reason why it was pushed back, was we had a lot of work to do.
With that being said, guys, let's get right into the show. This week we're going to be doing our top takes from the NFL draft. At number 4, this year marks the first time that 4 QBs have won in the top 10, and the first time in over 30 years that 5 have been in the first round. Who do you think was the best pick of the QBs, and who do you think was the worst pick?
What I have written down is my opinion here. It was tough because there's a lot of QBs, but the best, most controversial, which it was really tough to see him go at number 1 because nobody really thought he was going to go number 1 until recently, is Baker to the Browns. That's just because he's a great player, don't get me wrong, but his controversial past, it was just like Jameis Winston. It's just really tough. Worst pick was Josh Rosen. He's cocky, which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with being cocky because he's good. He's really that good to be that cocky. However, he shouldn't have acted like that and said what he said. Like, it's one thing to feel that way, but you shouldn't have said that out loud. What's that give the impression of your team when you're on that team? It's not him that's the bad pick, as I stated. He's really good. It's just where he fell and who he went to I don't think is a good fit.
Yeah, especially agreeing with you, like, it was tough. I mean, I was happy Baker went first, but I wasn't because he was projected 3rd, 4th in that area.
He was projected in the lottery. He was projected in the top 10, but it's still, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't have drafted him first overall. Yeah. Yes, he's really good playing, but if I had a top 10 pick and he was around 8-9, I'd pick him up at 8-9. Yeah. I wouldn't pick him up any earlier than 3. I don't know. Yeah. I trust his playing, but I don't trust his off the field actions. Yeah. He needs a good, heavy agent and manager behind him to keep straight.
Yeah, especially the worst pick. I mean, Josh Rosen, him going that low, like you said, shouldn't have happened, but it did. So hopefully he shows them that it was the wrong decision.
Yeah, like he said, that there was 9 mistakes in front of him. Do I feel like that's a thing you should say? No, it's not. That's
absolutely not.
That's disrespectful to the other 9 players when only 3 other ones were QBs.
Yeah.
But it's still, yeah, he should have went higher. He knows where he belonged, and so does everybody else.
Yeah.
At number 3, who do you think drew the best first-round pick, the luckiest first-round pick, and the worst first-round pick?
The best, I'm gonna have to go with my team, is the Giants picking up Saquon Barkley. Not just in the first round, but throughout the draft, they picked up an offensive guard too. They let Flowers go. That's gonna hopefully help protect Eli Manning. Yeah. He's never been that good running around in the pocket. He's needed protection.
When they drafted the offensive tackle, when we were watching the draft, it was tough. We were like, why are they doing that? And then we were like, well, no, their offensive line is poopy, so they need somebody. So hopefully he brings, even though he's a rookie, hopefully he brings that extra new feel. I want to say it's a really old team, but it's not. It's only old because of Eli. Yeah. So I think bringing in these rookies, and if 1 or 2 of them actually perform, it'll give a new feel to the team. Yeah,
and we haven't had a very good running back since like Ahmad Bradshaw, Brandon Jacobs.
Yeah.
So it's good to, I don't want to say relieve the passing game right away, but that's what I'm saying. It should, and hopefully it's gonna, because especially with Eli now.
The running game compared to college in the NFL is a lot different.
Yeah.
This kid showed a lot of promise.
Yeah.
Not just in college, but at the combine, throughout practices and stuff. I think he's gonna do what he needs to do.
Along with OBJ saying in the big blue jerseys, number 26 is gonna be the #1 selling jersey next year. That gives him confidence. So I'm hoping that gives him a boost.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, even like you look at Josh Rosen and all them, like, they're big market teams, but you usually don't see people in Arizona Cardinal jerseys up here, whether they like the guy, like the team or not. Usually it's only if you're a fan of the Cardinals you buy the jersey, whereas people like Like say me, I buy jerseys of players who I like. So if I like Josh Rosen, I might get his jersey. But if I like Saquon Barkley, I'm going to get his jersey over Josh Rosen just because of the colors. Yeah. Simple as that.
For sure. How do you feel about it?
Definitely same thing. Giants Saquon Barkley. There's nothing really to say about him. He shows that much promise to not be the best first round pick. I could have easily saw him going to the Browns. Would I want him to? No, because I don't think he's a good fit in Cleveland. But the Giants, he's going to bring. I'm not going to say them to the next level, but they're going to bring that style of offense into New York. They're going to bring a different style of offense into New York, and I can't wait to see how that works.
So for the luckiest pick, we both went with Lamar Jackson. I mean, it's good that the Ravens picked him up. I mean, there's several teams that could have picked him up, including the Steelers, the Patriots, if they really wanted to. So I think the Ravens got really lucky with this pick, for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Lamar Jackson fell way too low. When he was walking on the stage, you could tell he wasn't exactly too happy about falling that low, but he was hyped to get drafted. You could tell he was a little upset to fall that low. Ravens made a huge move trading up for that spot, and I really like seeing them there. For some reason, I just got a lot of love for this guy. I love his play, even though running quarterbacks usually don't fare too well in the NFL. I think, especially with the Ravens, with Joe Flacco, even though he's only 33, he's just like Saquon. He's going to bring a new style of offense to that team. It's just that young of a quarterback being able to move that well. I think he's actually going to perform. The only thing that really makes me upset is if he had went when he won the Heisman last year, if he had went into the draft that year, think about who he would have went against. He probably wouldn't have gotten picked that high. He probably still would have been picked this low. But because he underperformed compared to his Heisman year, and I say underperformed, I mean very slimly compared to what he had. It was a very similar draft year of what he had performed, but it's still. I don't think he should have went this low. He should have been one of the QBs in the top 10. He should have been one of the QBs inside the top 20. He should have never fell outside the top 20, let alone 32nd. As for worst pick, I have New England drafting a running back. I don't care who it is. The running back is great, but they don't need another running back. They have James White, who in the past 2 Super Bowls scored the last 3 and then the first 3 touchdowns that they had scored. It's ridiculous. What do you need another running back for? You already have 2. I get it, you need a third, but there's no reason he's not needed. I'm not saying he's going to underperform, but he's going to be underused. He's going to be underused there as a rookie. I believe they did draft a quarterback later in the other rounds. I'm not saying they should have drafted in the first round, but there's teams that could have used that running back over New England. I know that for a fact.
And going off of the misuse type thing, I mean, it's going to stop his growth as a player, and well, for right now. And
I think it's going to stop his mentality. I don't know about growth, but I think it's going to stop his mentality. All right, I'm not going to get any playing time.
What am I doing here?
Why am I in New England? Now I just need to train my ass off to get somewhere else. Because he could be a starter on other teams. He could be.
All right, guys, so at number 2, who leaves the draft based off of entire draft and offseason additions with the best chances of improving?
You already know my answer. Browns. If the Browns do not improve, I'm going to be shocked. Yes, I understand it's the Browns. They have a troubled past over the past few decades. As I stated a couple weeks ago, if I was in Las Vegas, I would put money that the Browns were going to win 5 or more games. This is before the draft. I would have put money on Las Vegas that they were going to win 5 games. I said it weeks ago, and I stick to it, especially after this draft. Drafting Baker and having Tyrod Taylor, whichever one is a good backup and a good starter. I've always liked Tyrod because of his speed. His arm is lacking, but Baker Mayfield's arm is pretty good. I think that Tyrod and Baker are going to be a combination used all throughout the season, flip-flopped all the time, back and forth.
It'd be good to see.
They got Landry, Chubb at running back, Corbett, along with Gordon at wideout. This could be dangerous as long as Baker stays smart and doesn't mess up his career. I think this could be dangerous, not necessarily this year. Like I said, 5 wins. I'm not looking for any more than 6 or 7 out of them. But in 3-4 years, when they're all developed, if they still have the money to keep these players around, I think this is going to be a team that's going to be to reckon with within the next decade.
That's, as you said, I mean, I have to go with the Browns too. They've made nothing but great additions over this offseason draft, and
Yeah.
they've done really smart things for not doing smart things in the past few years. It came out of nowhere to be like, hey, let's actually get something started here.
The only thing that concerns me is the quarterback.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield being drafted, they've never had luck with quarterbacks. How many quarterbacks have they drafted in the past decade, or how many quarterbacks have they had in the past decade that are just, they've turned out to be ass? And I mean, moving Tyrod from Buffalo to Cleveland, I think he fits well with the offense. I think he's going to develop his arm well in Cleveland. But, like I said, I think it's going to go back and forth between Tyrod and Baker all year and almost every game. That you're going to almost see each of them play at least one snap in most teams. Just because Tyrod can run and Baker can throw.
Well, hopefully both of them can help each other out. I mean, I understand Baker's going to be a rookie. Tyrod doesn't have too much experience, but he has enough.
I think Tyrod's going to help Baker's running game for sure.
And then maybe Baker can help Tyrod in a way, but we'll see.
All right, so at number 1, what team had the best draft and why?
Like I said earlier in the episode, I have the Giants just because of the fact that they have Saquon Barkley, and that offensive guard was really needed. I mean, all last season, that's the way we were getting hit, was from that left side.
You needed an offensive tackle.
And I'm basically repeating myself, but all throughout Eli's career, he's never been the type to move in the pocket and then make plays. He's needed time to do it, and then
he's big. He's not mobile, just like Ben.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's gonna help Eli next year is the protection. Not saying it's gonna be that big of a significant different, but along with Barkley running, it's gonna take pressure off him having to throw every time because our running backs the past few years have been poopy.
Yeah, the play action is gonna be a big concept for you guys this year. Play action Wildcat, I feel like, are going to take a big role in your guys' play this year just because of Barkley and that offensive tackle. And
especially since Barkley can catch the ball too. He has a lot of receiving yards for a running back and everything.
Just like the Seahawks drafting both the Griffin brothers, I think that's going to be huge for the Seahawks because that chemistry, they've been on the same team in high school, same team in college, now the same team in the NFL. And they're both nasty players. I think that chemistry is going to be huge for that team. As for my pick, I did pick the Steelers. When we were watching this draft and they picked a safety in the first round, not gonna lie, I was pissed. They didn't need a safety at that time. When I was watching the draft, I didn't think they needed a safety because our safeties right now, they're not very good. They're not veterans in my opinion. They still have a lot of development. So the way I looked at it was, this kid only really has the coaches to develop.
Right.
That was my opinion. Second round, we drafted wide receiver, which again, I didn't feel like we needed, besides the fact that we traded Martavis Bryant to the Raiders out of Washington. Yeah, wide receiver Washington out of Oklahoma State. Like I said, I didn't think we needed him, besides the fact that we had just traded one. But second round last year, we got Juju Smith, so I hope he performs. Juju's one of the fastest wideouts in the league, along with Antonio Brown. If this kid steps up, he could really perform. However, if we still have Eli Rogers come next year, I think it'll be a big step for us because Eli Rogers has a lot of promise. He just didn't get the snaps this year because of Juju. Third round, we got a quarterback, which was really needed, which is who I thought we were going to draft in the first round, was Lamar Jackson, and we didn't, and that's why I was really mad about getting safety. But we got Mason Rudolph, who shows a lot of promise. He's probably going to be the replacement for Ben as of right now if he can get some good snaps in preseason, a couple good snaps in during the regular season, maybe playoffs, probably not. But if he gets good snaps and shows promise and develops under Big Ben for at least 2 years, I think he's going to be a good replacement. Finally, we drafted an offensive tackle, another safety, and a defensive tackle. We needed the offensive tackle, and we needed the defensive tackle, simple as that. The reason why I didn't think we needed safety is because one safety wasn't going to be enough. And then we drafted our final safety, I believe it was in the 5th round. And these two together, one of them has to be used as a middle linebacker. That's because Ryan Shazier, prayers to the guy, I hope he gets better soon. He's walking, he announced the first round pick. It really made me happy to see him moving around. but he's not going to be back for a while. It's going to be at least another year. Like, I hate to say it, but it's going to be another year. And he was one of the fastest linebackers in the league. He could move. He could read that coverage.
He was a dominant player.
And the linebackers we had now at the end of last year, you saw it in the last 5 games. All you had to do is throw it over the center. We could throw it over the center every play, and we'd get beat because they couldn't read the play. And that was one of the things that Edmonds had a problem with was ball recognition, where the ball was going after it was thrown. But I think these two are going to work well together, and one of them is going to eventually become a linebacker, I hope. Edmonds is 6'1". I believe he can do it. He's 215 pounds. He's a big kid. I think he could be a middle linebacker, and he could be a threat. But that's my opinion. And anyways, guys, that's it for this week. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Leave comments on what you thought of the show. Like I said, it's second to last episode of the season 1. Season 2 is going to kick off come fall semester again. Can't wait to see you guys next week.
And remember, guys, one phrase.
6 words.
Been ballin'.
Still ballin'. Stay ballin'.
Tell her, hey, to get up on my